Where did Tony the Tiger go from Frosties? He was great. Probably been cancelled just for being happy. The left don't like it if men or tigers are happy. The best way to be married is to never see your bloody wife, trust me. I'm divorced now, but they can't stop me saying I'm married in the privacy of my home. That'll do from me, Malcolm Dempster, Twitch's oldest man for now. Probably be back next week with a bit more wit and wisdom. And we'll hand over to Suze Kempner, who I can't stand and won't be in the same room as. And I'm bloody have to cross my fingers. I'll get thrown off here by the woke mafia. Mafia were a crime ring that were in a lot of films, and woke means whatever I say it means, actually. This is a free speech channel. Any woke language, you will be banned. I heard he'd been cancelled too. Maybe it's the wokes that have been cancelled. No, they're the ones making all the money. But good luck to them, because go woke, go broke. Was the cancellation cancelled? I suppose so, yeah. Everything gets cancelled now, even cancellations. You'll notice I'm on the old woke Coke, I call it. Diet Coke, woke Coke. This is what woke people drink, I'm sure you're aware. So after I've been here and answered all your questions, given all my opinions on everything, if there's something I don't know about, don't worry, I will still form an opinion. I went into Tesco, should be calling it Test Woke. They had Diet Coke, and the shelves around it were empty, because even products are cancelled now, thanks to the woke. We all know who is responsible for the shelves being empty. It is the communist Jeremy Krupins, and he did that. I think it's a pretty sad state of affairs when a man in Romania cannot even brag about running a sex trafficking ring and leave voice messages for women saying that he's abused them, without getting arrested for those exact things that he's admitted to with his own words. What kind of world are we living in? When I was growing up, we all had COVID every so often. It was called a cold. I got it. And I was delighted to get it, to be honest. It was just like any regular cold when I got it, which was in 2020. Here are the symptoms. See if this reminds you of a cold, a regular common cold. Day 1, felt a bit rough. Oh, that sounds a bit like a cold. Oh, I'm very scared. Day 2, felt worse. Colds do get worse. Day 3, I was coughing so much I didn't sleep for 24 hours. Every time I'd find myself drifting off, my body would be racked with coughs again. Just like any bloody regular cold. Day 4, the cough was still there. That was annoying. And I had a high temperature. It was so high I was running with sweat. That sounds like a cold to me. But shut everything because of that, I suppose, for 3 years. If Keir Starmer had his way, it'll be 6 years. Not a fan of him, although I like his views on immigration. And crime. I like quite a lot of his views, actually. Yeah, he's. Have you heard him speak recently, Keir Starmer? A lot of what he says really appeals to me. Won't be voting for him. Day 5, I couldn't take a full breath, couldn't take a full lungful of air. Was a little bit gasping for breath, actually. Reminds me a little bit of every cold I've ever had. Day 6, I was making, like that bloody Kate Bush song, I'll give her one. I was making deals with God. I was saying, God, I don't believe in God. I'm an atheist, thank God. But I was, my temperature was very high. I don't remember this that well. I was gasping for air. The coughing did continue while gasping for air. And I was making deals with God, saying, God, spare me and I will apologise to my kids. And thank goodness he did. And over the next 3 days, I did start to feel better. I'm not bloody apologising to them. Right. Do you know who first used mainstream media as a pejorative? Goebbels. But apparently, if you agree with him, you're a Nazi. Have you ever used a paper straw? You might as well sip your drink from the glass, and how am I possibly going to do that? I've got a deal going in my house where the spare room, they pay rent on the room and they cover the bills, and I cover the mortgage using their rent. It all works out very well. It's all very fair. I do a vital job as a landlord. I'm part of the landlord community. They said that was vegan, what you just ate. All of that was vegan. Completely plant-based, they said. And I said, you piss off upstairs, you. Go back to the spare room. I'm not going to fall for that. It was definitely not vegan. Here are some of the things in it that definitely can't possibly have been vegan. Sausages, gravy, Yorkshire pudding. It's got the word Yorkshire in it. It's not going to be bloody vegan, is it? Those weird Amazon ones where you use a barcode scanner. That's the wokest supermarket. I've been past one of them. Amazon Fresh. I don't like it. It reminds me of the rainforest, which reminds me of climate change activists, and some of them really bloody annoy me because not going to beat about the bush. They got pink hair and they're young. The vaccines did too, and I did get 2 vaccines. Hold my hands up. But it was only because I wanted to go to Spain. We voted leave so we could leave. I'm not European. Put it that way. I'm not European. I just really like going to Spain. The woke have made the queues at passport control much longer. By not getting behind Brexit. If you're not going to get behind something, then guess what? It's not going to work. But it is working. It's going really bloody well, actually. Custard creams or bourbons? Bourbon does always sound a little bit French to me. So I'm going to go with custard creams. Malcolm, what did it make of all these snowflakes wanting to remove all the great British turds from our rivers? John Matt, exactly. Right. Here's what I'll say about sewage washing up on our shores. If it's good enough to come out of your arse, it's alright to wash up on the beach. And if you think I regret saying that, you're wrong. Michelle Moan, you're lonely on that boat, love. One of the wokies, in a very defensive way, said all 15-minute cities mean is that everyone is within 15 minutes to an amenity. It doesn't mean they're stuck there. Well, I beg to differ. And I'm sure what you'll say next is, well, how do you know everyone's going to be trapped there, imprisoned in a 15-minute city? Well, I shouldn't have to prove it. Put it this way, I know for a fact that a lot less people are watching GB News than are currently watching GB Sues. What woman is the least woke? Good question. Eva Braun. Yeah, this is annoying, isn't it? How we've now had women win the Euros. I'm sure they had a good time. I'm sure they had a laugh. But the fact is, anyone could win the Women's Euros. And it just so happened it was England. The day after, there was a parade in Trafalgar Square. And they all went on stage, and some of them were clearly inebriated. And I thought, not very ladylike, is it? Call yourself the Women's Euros. Not very ladylike. They should be wearing skirts like the tennis ladies. Who should not be getting paid as much as the men. Shut up, Andy Murray. She's not going to shag you, mate. That's what I say. Whenever Andy Murray says something like, oh, Venus and Serena Williams have won 4 Olympic gold medals each, I go, they're not going to shag you, mate. Just say it to my TV. Malcolm, what do you reckon about drag queens and drag kings? Yeah, I quite like car racing. I think it's decent, to be honest. If the ladies want to have a go, sit in the passenger seat, go ahead, girls. If they were really interested in equality rather than virtue signalling, they'd give men free sanitary products too. Yeah, and you know what? Yeah, exactly. In fact, they do, because they're so woke. And if they were really interested in equality, they'd do that, and they do it. So they're obviously not interested in equality, are they? Do you have a blue tick? Yep, bought and paid for, proud of it. I supported the Burn Your Bras movement. Yeah, get rid of them girls, let them roam free. Your tits, not the bras, because they'll be burnt. It's an outrage they aren't catering Doctor Who to be its intended audience of middle-aged men. Exactly. Like the tie. Thank you. I thought I'd wear a jazzy one. I've been listening to a lot of Frank Sinatra recently, and this tie reminded me of the Rat Pack. They were good, weren't they? That was when men were men. Male musicians were men. Not like now. What happened to all the proper men doing music? Like Frank Sinatra. Thank you, Frankie boy, for the music and the memories. Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin and the rest of the Rat Pack. Peter, what's his name, and you fella with the eye. Nowadays, it's all Harry Styles and Sam Smith. What happened to men like Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, David Bowie, Freddie Mercury? Don't mind admitting that I feel a little bit of shame that I'm not wearing a poppy. I will always respect the fallen, but it is April. Do respect the fallen, apart from Wilfred Owen and Siegfried Sassoon, who used to slag off war. It's not very patriotic, is it? What can you expect from a poet that made shampoo? Exactly! Shouldn't be in a war, should you? Siegfried Sassoon, if all you're going to do is write poems and wash your hair. Don't get me wrong, no, I like the weather when it's a bit, when the weather's being a bit, I like it. Only a snowflake would be like, oh, I want it to be sunny all the time. And then if it is, they all bloody go on about global warming, which now apparently not allowed to say. You're meant to say climate change. It was on a very cold day during March, only a couple of weeks ago. I said, oh, how's that climate change for you, Joe? Because I caught them doing this in the kitchen, because I told them, don't put the bloody heating on, Joe. And they said, Malcolm, I pay the bills. And I remembered that was true and said, put the heating on if you fancy it then. Joe, my lodger, was rubbing their hands going, oh, it's cold, isn't it? I said, enjoying your climate change, are you? But then last summer, when it was those 2 days where it was over 40 degrees and very, very bloody hot, actually, Joe has a air conditioning unit, because they live in the attic, the spare room's in the attic, and it does get warm. And they said, Malcolm, I'll bring the air conditioner down the wooden ladder that comes down from the attic and then down the stairs, and we can have it in the lounge if you want on these hot days. And they plugged that in, and so I was fine during that 2-day heat wave. So, like, as far as I'm concerned, does climate change exist? No. Are we still allowed to say Easter eggs? Not allowed to say anything these days. You've answered your own question there, Rebel Jared. No, you're not. In fact, if you say Happy Easter, or even Happy Eater, you will be cancelled. Because have you seen a Happy Eater around lately? No. It's because it's got cancelled. Have you been watching Succession? Yeah, really like the way that dad talks to his bloody ungrateful kids. You tell him, mate. Does it look like Boris will get off? I hope he does. I love him. That's made me smile, because I liked it, so I love him. Yeah, I reckon he'll get off, because he's done absolutely nothing wrong. Those woke lots keep saying that sea levels will rise, but if they do, then Rill will be underwater. Win-win, I say. Yeah, good one. It won't, no, doesn't exist. Where's lovely Nadine these days? I've seen her, she's presenting on another GBC show. In fact, she was in here earlier today recording her show. I know, because I found this on the floor, so I knew she'd been in. There we go. They say oppose sexism, and then they also want to call out J.K. Rowling a woman for being a bigot. You couldn't make it up, says Cheeky Nandor. Cheeky Nandor, correct. Although you can't say woman, it's illegal now. They call people Nazis just because Nazis turned up on their side and they didn't leave. Yeah, now apparently, if you say, I agree with the Nazis, you're like a Nazi. I think the true Nazis are people who hate Nazis, and I won't be elaborating. I see Rupert Murdoch is getting married again. He really doesn't learn, does he? I know, mate. Oh, if only he knew that being single is the best. I'm glad she's gone. Do you ever get lonely, Malcolm? No. Never do. Never do. Don't ever think about my wife, ex-wife now, thank God. Never think about her, or the fact that she blocked me on all her different social media platforms and won't reply to my texts. I just don't think about it. Good riddance. I made a good decision there, allowing her to leave. Fave football team, Malcolm. England till I die. Although not recently, I'm looking forward to Gareth Southgate leaving. Worst manager the team has ever had. Made them go woke. And ever since he took over, England have played the worst they've ever played in their history. And believe me, I've watched them at tournaments for years. And they've made a semi-final of a World Cup, a final, and a hard-fought quarter-final against France, who were the favourites. The worst 3 performances England have ever done, especially in a row. Oh no, just say to them, I don't respect your pronouns, and they'll kick off. I personally don't respect any pronouns, and if anyone mentions them, I get extremely angry because wokies are so sensitive. Someone was on one of those news shows. She was from Extinction Rebellious, and she was young and she had pink hair. So already I was like, oh fuck off, love. And she said, here are some facts about climate change and how it's all been completely ignored by the major parties. And I said, I give up. And Joe laughed and said, Malcolm, you say that several times a week. And I say, it's because I've given up. Just show me all the goals, not like normal Match of the Day, where you don't see any of the goals, not even one. Yeah, and this one, she was 21. She said her age, and it annoyed me even more, because initially I thought, oh, she's 25, that's annoying. And then she said she was 21. I was like, that's even more annoying, because she's very young and she's got a whole life ahead of her. Are you okay with trans life forms if they are giant robots who are also cars? No, I'm bloody not. No. Just sorry, I'm having some trouble with my hair. If you're a giant robot who wants to turn into a car, maybe you should have just been a car in the first place. I used to love Lil. And now, if I saw a can of that Fanta pineapple and grapefruit, I'd just shake my head sadly and say, I give up. I DM'd a pretty lady yesterday to let her know her cleavage looked really nice in the dress she was wearing. She blocked me. I was paying her a compliment. Can't say anything these days. Yeah, Rebel Gerald, do you know why? Do you know what her problem was? Women can't face the fact that men are right. You can't even approach a woman and say to her, stop what you're doing, take off your headphones, I find you attractive. You can't even say that anymore. And they'd probably call you a Nazi if you did. In fact, that is what happened. They didn't call me a Nazi. They said that with their eyes. What they said was, I don't really feel like talking at the moment. I said, oh, well, you're talking to me now, aren't you? So we obviously do. And then she just put her headphones back in and walked down the carriage. Well, I give up. What happened to Secret bars? Remember a Secret? Remember those? It was a chocolate spun basket with mousse inside. A sugary mousse inside. And now the only secret is why it was cancelled. Have you got your splendid blue passport? Yes. Yes, Zoe! Was very happy to use it in Spain last year. Unfortunately, due to the woke, liberal, lefty cucks, snowflakes, the queue for passport control was very long because they haven't supported Brexit, which is making it not go very well, even though it's going really well. But the good thing was, every time I got angry at being in the queue for so long, I just gazed down at my blue passport and it was very wonderful. Where did Tony the Tiger go from Frosties? He was great. Probably been cancelled just for being happy. The left don't like it if men or tigers are happy. The best way to be married is to never see your bloody wife, trust me. I'm divorced now, but they can't stop me saying I'm married in the privacy of my home. That'll do from me, Malcolm Dempster, Twitch's oldest man for now. Probably be back next week with a bit more wit and wisdom. And we'll hand over to Suze Kempner, who I can't stand and won't be in the same room as. Thank you. Yeah, Snooze Kempner. Yeah, bloody good point. And see you all soon. Thank you. You've made an old man very happy.
Yee.